Hey, Shalom. First, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful late the house of David. Let's get into this. This is gonna be a lamb back after the brothers' lesson. Remembers Lot's wife. You know, I'm halfway done with it. But he said something that sparked me to do a lesson. You know, he's about to go into it now. So we're gonna play, but we're gonna play into that. But before we get into that, all I want to say is, yeah, remember the last wife, because we can't. This world, it has lots to offer, even though it's wicked, even though it's beyond wicked, beyond wicked. It has lots to offer, lots of stuff that can all pull the flesh into it. You know, you know how the flesh get. The flesh is never satisfied. The flesh will keep going and going and going and going and going, like the Energizer Butter commercial. Keep going and going and going and going. And that's what you want to make you just another battery. You know, he want to pull you in to the system just to make you another battery. You know. But yeah, we gotta remember. You know, because once we all get going, we can't look back. You know, we can't look back. It's gonna be a hard part. It's gonna be hard. Everything is hard. You know, everything is pretty hard, and that's something. You know, I'm actually coming to truly understand now that everything is hard. You know, so what if things continue to be hard? What you gotta do? You gotta learn how to play better. You know, we play games. Sometimes we'll put them on easy mode, normal mode. When normal mode ain't enough for us, we'll go on hard mode. We'll go on super hard mode. You know, legendary mode. You know. So what we just gotta learn how to you know, as they say, play ball. Life is hard, but we have to learn how to play ball. You know, and we can't turn back. You know. So let's get into the brother's video. Oh, this is the brother GMS Living Waters Ba. You see it on the screen, but you know that's the beloved brother Ayashama. You know, down here in Mississippi. You know, so let's get into it. Listen to what he said. He had pulled it up.
I typed it up in the chat. All right. So I looked in the chat GPT. I said, what would Lot's wife, all right, symbolize in modern time? Okay. Now, when you go into it, it says attachment to a destructive past.
Attachment to a destructive past. You know, attachment to a destructive past. I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. You know, like you keep, you'll bring up things from your past that you felt that was like successful, that you felt things were going right in your life when you were that person. You know. So what that is? You looking back, you can't. You looking back, you like, man. You know, you'll keep bringing it up. You're saying you trying to remain you, the repentant version of you. You know, but you constantly bringing that old person up. You constantly looking back at old situations. You know what? There's some adage on you. There's some adage on you. You know. You know, we gotta look forward. We gotta look forward and being present and be in the present. Mainly be in the present. You know, because I've started to go back into I started to go back into studying Japanese. You know, what's it called? Proverbs, stuff like that. You know, because that's a lot of stoicism. You know, and it's been helping me. You know, move forward. You know, and embrace some stuff. You know, and one of the things is, you know, if you're looking back, you're depressed. If you're looking forward, you're being anxious. You have an anxiety about things. The thing is about being in the present. About being in the present. They call this Fudoshin. I want to make a lesson about that. Be in the present. Yes, think about the future. Or have some understanding about what's about to happen in the future. Yes, have some understanding about where your future is going. And set a few seeds. But after that, you just let it grow. You get back. You all place yourself back into the presence. Yeah, you got some things set up. You got some things planned. But after you do that, set yourself back into the presence. And whichever direction you take to reach that future, you're just gonna get there by being in the present, not constantly being in the future, overthinking things. Causing yourself undue stress. You're doing yourself a disservice. Let's continue.
It said being unable to leave behind toxic, relationship.
Being unable to leave behind toxic relationships, lifestyles, or environments. How many of y'all been afraid to quit a job? Not because you you was afraid you couldn't find another job, but because you was afraid of you didn't want no change. You didn't want to learn anything new. You didn't want to start over. But that's life. Life is constantly starting over. Each day you start over. It might grow into, you might leave one situation, start over in this situation, that situation grows. But guess what? Eventually, you're gonna grow, you're gonna outgrow that situation. Like clothes, you're gonna outgrow your situation where you're gonna move to another one. And that's another thing I learned. We gotta constantly be growing. We gotta constantly be growing, constantly becoming more wiser. Stronger inwardly, because this world is chaos. Life is chaos. But we must stand firm. And I'm somewhat getting to the lesson of Fudoshin. I don't want to do that. I want to say that for another lesson. But yeah, being unable to leave behind toxic relationships, lifestyles, or environments. Listen, we're gonna let the brother continue.
Lifestyles or environments, craving old habits that were harmful, being pulled backward by nostalgia for what the Most High, is calling you to walk away from.
Exactly. We're finna grab a couple scriptures. Exactly. We gotta walk away from a lot of that stuff. Like when he called his disciples, what they do? They dropped what they was doing. They dropped their life. Because Peter was a fisherman. He got off that boat when Yahushua called him. So what? He dropped his career. He dropped his life. To what? Follow after Yahushua. We gotta do the same thing. Listen, this is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Listen, wherefore seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. You see, we gotta let that way go. We gotta let the old environment go, the old lifestyle go, the old relationships go. If it's keeping us weighed down, if it's keeping us turning back, we gotta let it go. We gotta let it go. Remember Lot's wife, her weight was behind her. You know, her weight was behind her, and she looked after, and she looked towards it, and what? She became she became stone. She became a pillar of salt. You know? She became a pillar of salt. You know? And yeah, it's gonna be hard, but again, life is hard. Life is hard. You know? Life is chaos. Life is a storm, you know? And again, I'm starting to creep into the Fudoshin, but I'm trying to chill on that. I think that's a lesson I probably want to try to do with a brother or something. So yeah, I probably gotta wait on it, or I'll probably do it myself. We'll see. Listen to this. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2. Start at verse 1. Listen, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. This world, it got all these temptations to draw you in. You know, hey, get this. Hey, be a part of that. People be a part of this. Do this. Now what? You're gaining more weight in this society. So when it's time to flee, you ain't gonna want to drop any of them. Or you making it difficult for yourself to drop them. Be like, man, I went and got all this, and you telling me I gotta drop them? Yes. Prepare yourself for temptation. You know, don't get too involved in this world and start going to pick up some weight. You know, the Lord allow you to pick up something that you can carry, that you can, bear. But what we end up doing is picking up more stuff that makes our journey even more difficult, you know? Verse 2, set thy heart aright, set your mind aright, get your mind ready, and consistently endure. It say consistently. Why? Because it's not gonna stop, man. Life is not going to stop. Life is constantly going to be moving. You know? So what? You're gonna have to consistently endure. You know? You're gonna have to consistently endure. And make not haste in the time of trouble. You know? Don't be anxious. Cause what? Scripture says a lot of people gonna be afraid because of that. What? Because what? They the heart, roughly paraphrasing, the hearts of men were frightened for the things that were to come upon the earth. What? They was afraid of the things that was coming. They was afraid of the things that was happening. Why? Because they was anxious. They wasn't in the present. You know? They're constantly thinking about, what's this? Oh, man, 2026 coming. Oh, man, what I'm going to do? Oh, man, how I'm going to pay this? Oh, man, will I be here in 5 years? Oh, man. Oh, man, it's getting worse. Nah. Let that junk go. Be in the present, you know? Make not haste in the time of trouble, you know? Well, we got to remain calm. Remain calm. I'm gonna have to get this scripture, or when I do that lesson on Fudoshin. You know, it's continue because I'm starting to creep back into it. Verse 3: cleave unto him who Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. You know. You know, you don't be destroyed with this old world. You know, You don't be destroyed with this old world, but you be rewarded in the new. You know, the time of refreshing. You know, even before then. You know, because yeah, we going through Jacob's trouble, but the elect, what that is the scriptures all depict that good things gonna be happening to the elect. What, they're gonna be laughing in times of famine. You know, Isaiah 41. You know, miracles gonna be happening, spiritual power. You know, the elect is going to be looked after. You know. You know. So yeah. Hey, remember Lot's wife. Remember Lot's wife. You know. And with that, I hope you was edified. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect, the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing, Shalom.